everyone, KB here with Pile Driver Wrestling Podcast. Hey, I wanted to hop on here and really talk about some old school wrestling. Nothing excites me more than talking about old school. Nothing wrong with the new school. I love it, as well. But I believe that the old school really paved the way for the new school today. I love what even the WWE does, when they say then, now, and forever. They're just kind of always talking about the legends and stuff, and that does my heart happy because we're all getting older, right? And we all want to be celebrated. So today we're going to really be diving into celebrating Barry Windham. We'll talk about many wrestlers, over the next course of this podcast, but we really want to talk about Barry Windham this week. Barry Windham, if you're not familiar with him, was a great in-ring performer in the 1980s. He was a great, big, stout guy, solid guy. You may or may not know his dad. His dad was Blackjack Mulligan, who was a great wrestler in himself. And I'm sure that Blackjack raised him up to be, a great wrestler. Matter of fact, Barry Windham actually wrestled up under Blackjack Mulligan Jr. at one time. So that's kind of neat. So kind of passing on the torch from father to son, or his even son, kind of remembering his dad. So, again, I think we should honor the legends, and that's what we're doing today. We're honoring, Barry Windham and his accomplishment. If you're not familiar with Barry Windham, I suggest that you could go over to YouTube and watch some of his videos. But we're going to kind of dive into, kind of his accomplishments. He wrestled for NWA. He wrestled for WCW. He wrestled for WWF even. He was a great champion, in every place that he went to. He's a two-time champion and a tag team champion in WWF, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But, as far as WCW, he was best known as being in an elite group. Can you guess what the elite group was? It was the Four Horsemen. That's right. Some of you legends out there know exactly what this means. That was the elite group back in the day, when you had Flair. So if you joined that group, that meant something right there. And Barry was a part of it, and so, for him to be a part of that group, they obviously had to see something in Barry, that they wanted him to be a part of the group. And there was no greater group than this right here back in the day. The greatest of all time, the Four Horsemen. The greatest group, in my opinion, of the old school, the legends as it is. But nonetheless, that meant something. And also, in WWE, he was part of the U.S. Express. He was actually wrestled as tag team partners, two-time champion with Mike Rotunda. You may know him as better as IRS, great guy, in himself. But did you know this? Did you know that Barry Windham was actually related to Mike Rotunda? Yes, that was his brother-in-law. And so Bo Dallas, Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, was his nephews. And so that legacy really continues on. So we don't look at the ties that some of these wrestlers have, but man, what a legacy that Barry Windham, and his dad actually, Blackjack Mulligan, has left, because those guys are incredible. Again, you may or may not know that Barry Windham is a two-time Hall of Famer. He got the Hall of Fame with the U.S. Express, and he got a Hall of Fame with none other than the Four Horsemen. And that's an accomplishment in itself, to be able to be in that category where you're a two-time Hall of Famer. Not too many people are two-time Hall of Famer, and Barry Windham is. So as we close this, I just encourage you, go watch some video, go watch some, pull up some old school footage of him wrestling. You won't be disappointed. I tell you, the guy was phenomenal. So we give a shout out to Barry Windham. Maybe he'll come across this. Maybe he'll see this. But you were one of my favorites when I was growing up. and I loved watching you as a part of the elite group. So that's all I got, and we'll see you next time on Old School Wrestling on Pile Driver Wrestling Podcast.